The inflation report has been dropped. We're seeing positive signs in both the economy from a gas perspective. Just kidding. We're still feeling the prices rise at the pump. But more importantly, guys, is this bullish or bearish for Bitcoin? We have Elon Musk and, of course, Donald Trump under attack right now, as well as major banks, major institutions buying more Bitcoin than ever. So let's dive into what we're looking at the chart today. We have a chart opened right now with a position. I am in a long here. It's a bit riskier of a play. We've been scalp trading this huge volatility drop that we just got a few moments ago. Of course, after the announcement of the inflation report, filling some liquidations, did open a leverage position here on Ethereum. If you guys are in the Telegram with CoinW, you guys would know exactly what I'm talking about. And shout out to CoinW, new sponsor of the channel here. We'll see if this trade plays out live. But DZ, how are you feeling? I know you're in some short positions as well that you may have caught earlier this morning.
Yeah, I'm actually in a short position. I shorted TIA right before we went live. Right now, I don't know if you can see this, 27% in profit. Nothing crazy, only an 11x. I saw a little bit of a just downward price action in the Bitcoin charts. I knew it was going to crash. I had a feeling Bitcoin was going to take a short-term correction. Bearish divs on the hourly, bearish divs on even the 3-hour. Open a short, and it seems to be doing well. So, but I'm rooting for your long. I'm always bullish, everybody. I just saw a little bit of opportunity in the market.
Yeah, I mean, we're in literally a scalp trade. It's at a break-even stop loss. We are up a little bit, but we will see if it gets stopped out here. We might get a little bit more downside action in that market. So hopefully we'll just trade alongside the stream here and just have some fun with it today. But the inflation paradox, a restaurant owner's perspective on the government's numbers here, in a world where numbers dictate health, economic health, and seasoned restaurant owner with 4 establishments under his belt decided to delve into the reality of inflation as it affects his daily operations.
And we've been saying a long time, the numbers that they're giving us, the 2.9%, the 4.1% year over year, 0.2% month over month, it's all fake. We knew it was fake. We saw the videos with our own eyes. A Walmart order from 22. All right, if it's 4% year over year, okay, so what, maybe 10%, it should be higher. No, these things are doubling, they're tripling, and they're lying to us about the data. They're lying to us about inflation.
Well, let me ask chat here, guys. Do you believe inflation is correct, or are the feds
what
lying
numbers
to
does
us
this
here?
guy have? Because I was told chicken breasts are only, up 3% year over year.
Inflation was reported at 3.5%. He made a video to share this with his observations. Fast forward to today with the government proudly announcing a drop by 2.9% or to 2.9%. The owner remains skeptical. He noticed that since February, the cost of key food items has skyrocketed. Chicken breasts up 27%. Ground beef up 13%. Cheese not far behind with an 11% hike in ribeye with a jaw-dropping 25% ride. Avocados, shout out to our avocado lovers out there, up over 50%. So this is obviously affecting restaurants and small business owners across America a lot more than the government might like you to think. And here's what he had to say. Let's hear this out, actually. Make sure this is plug. Let me see if we got audio.
Number, but it's BS. We're out here in the real world. My name's Brian Will. I own 4 restaurants.
Ladies and gentlemen, is our government lying to us about inflation?
Is this a reaction to a reaction video?
I can tell you that in February,
We're reacting to the reaction of the reaction video, though.
It's $2.22 a pound. That's a 27% increase. Ground beef was $3.87 a pound. Now it's $4.45 a pound. 13% increase. Cheese is up 11%. Ribeye up 25%. Avocados up 50%. These are core staple items in a restaurant, and our average inflation-induced increase is over 20% just in the last 6 months. I would love it if it was only 3.5%, but that's just not real world. So do we raise our prices? Do we cut employees? Do we cut critical services? What are businesses supposed to do in this nonsense 3.5% inflation?
No matter what he chooses, though, he's going to be called evil, and he's going to be called, a price gouger.
I was having a really good debate last night. Well, not really good. I mean, they just wouldn't understand when you raise taxes or you have inflation going up in goods like this, it is going to affect these small businesses a lot harder than your large institutions. Even your large corporations, though, they're going to have higher layoffs or not going to be giving away pay raises as much, or they're not going to be hiring as much. There's a lot that involves with this, and this is very clearly the trend we've been seeing within this current establishment and this current government. But we'll move on. I'm going to digress from that real quick because we've got to move to Goldman Sachs right after we do a quick market update. I totally skipped over this. So this morning, Bitcoin at $61,300.
Refresh. We're red.
$300.
Refresh.
I wanted to read it off just
you
because
wanted to
it
lie.
looks good. I wanted to lie
looks
like
good,
the
yeah.
government. So, you know, in the terms of inflation,
All right, let's do
here,
U.S. government crypto prices here.
This is
green.
U.S. government green across the board, DZ. In fact, you know what? If you want to say it's below this number, I have the data on the screen to prove that.
Now
it
let's
is
hit
currently
refresh and give the actual data.
the actual $59,219. Ethereum here $5650. BNB back down to $520. Solana under $150. XRP 57 cents, and your favorite ton coin 6.9. Love that, $6.90. Top movers today we have ton coin. Wow, interestingly enough, it's not only down in the alley, it is the top mover in the last 24 hours, but not a lot of really big gainers here in the last 24 hours. They're going to be following suit with, of course, Bitcoin. You have Sui, Akash Network, Dog with Hat, Cosmos Hub, Jasmy, Bitcoin Cash, Dogecoin, and Quant all following suit. Now, Quant's been, man, it has not been Quant's bull run at all this cycle, guys. I mean, it is just bleeding and bleeding further, almost down to its low of June 2022.
What did I tell oh, you weren't here. Drew, do you remember what I told everybody to sell yesterday?
It's probably Quant.
No, it was all the bullish SWE news. Remember that? The SWE news?
Yeah.
It was bullish article here, bullish article there, bullish post here. What did I say directly to the audience? I'm seeing all this bullishness. You know what I see? A token unlock. We showed you the token unlock. And then look at SWE. It is the biggest loser out of the top 100. So we got the smart chat. We got the smart host here. We're just trying to help you protect your crypto bag here. So yet another arrow in the quiver there.
5,600. Yeah, I know. We do wish, guys. I misspoke there. It is $2,600 Ethereum. So unfortunately, about 50% below what I was expecting there. But we're looking at our analysts today, guys. Goldman Sachs discloses nearly 420 million in Bitcoin ETF holdings. Quick take here. In a relatively quiet second quarter for 13F Bitcoin ETF filings, Goldman Sachs has now made headlines by disclosing significant positions in several Bitcoin ETFs, according to the SEC filing. This is massive. More and more institutional purchases are racking up despite the grayscale outflows. We have a counter to that, which is massive buy orders coming in and inflows from multiple different institutions across the board. So this is what makes me long-term bullish. Of course, in the near term, you guys are coming in like, oh my goodness, what's happening to my bags? Look, there's two things that are going to happen right now. One, Bitcoin is going to be extremely volatile, probably leading up to the Feds deciding to make their first interest rate cut, which we'll get to in just a second. And two, something we've been talking about for months at this point, which is that altcoins are going to be decimated until we break out of Bitcoin's previous all-time high and new liquidity enters these markets. So if you guys are going to come in and ask, Josh, what about Quant? What about Say? What about SWE? What about, Ondo? What about all these projects? Unfortunately, in a world of low liquidity, we need new liquidity to enter these markets before you get any significant alt season or narrative trend shift in the market. So it is really good and imperative that we see big banks and big institutions dollar cost averaging a Bitcoin under that sub 60K level. So very, very good in terms of accumulation and consolidation. We could go back down a little bit. That's what I would point out from there. We have major banks, of course, Goldman Sachs. You have $1.4 trillion Morgan Stanley and $600 billion Wells Fargo. All three terrible banks that I honestly don't like banking with in general. But hey, there's your institutions coming into the play here. In just 4 years, MicroStrategy went from owning 0 Bitcoin to holding 1% of the entire supply. For scale, only 2 ETFs have more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy: Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust, and of course, BlackRock's IBIT. And Michael Saylor isn't done buying yet. Chat, is it a good or bad thing Michael Saylor is buying so much Bitcoin? I mean, the good side of this, the plus, is that he's a lot of institutions' exit liquidity. But also, is this, good long-term?
I actually might do a deep dive for this evening, 8 p.m. I might have to do a deep dive because there could be some major players who own MicroStrategy stock. And so maybe the story here isn't what's on the surface. It's what's underneath.
What's underneath, DZ?
I've got to save it for 7 p.m. You got to have those notifications
Show me
on
what's
too,
underneath.
folks.
You got him.
All right, I'll take it.
Speaking of underneath, Bitcoin drops below 61K as traders remain cautious ahead of the United States CPI. Further unwinding of yen carry trade here. Love that every analyst became, super experts with the yen carry trade here. In my opinion, it really absolutely does not matter whatsoever. This was an Evergrande situation. They raised interest rates by 25 basis points, and some reason the retail audience went, no, after 20 years of having 0 interest rates. They're pausing it. They're not going to continue it. And so, in terms of why it's pulling back, I think simply a little bit of a liquidation grab. And we're going to get to the inflation metrics here in just a
I
second.
discovered that SWE is actually pronounced Sue, like tsunami. Love the show. Thank you, Blockchain Report, for the $10 super chat. Also, Seal, sorry to hear that about your restaurant. That sounds pretty crappy if you ask me. I'm still going to say SWE. I can't do Sue.
Yeah, it's just, unfortunately, there's going to be always new acronyms. They're going to be spelled Kamala. Like, there's going to be just a million different ways you can pronounce something, even though we all went to the
I
same,
say we go back to, what's the movie with Burt Reynolds? Sue.
I like that one.
Let's do the Deliverance.
Well, expectations
minus that
here.
one part of the scene.
Yeah.
You know, part. No, not that part. Let's not do the Deliverance. I take all that back.
Yeah,
just
take
forget
that
everything
back.
I literally just said.
Well, hey, US CPI did deliver one thing, and that is expectations below 3%. So we have, the 3% expectations. We came in at 2.9%. This is what we saw, a bit of a pump here, but we followed with a major dump this morning. So why is that? Well, Bitcoin monthly compound growth rates are down 5%. What should be done in a bull market when experiencing negative returns? The correct answer is buy. So again, looking like a liquidity grab here, moving to the downside at about $59,100, which we'll get to the charts here in a little bit. Bitcoin holders are stacking sats as price hovers above $60,000. Well, we're down below it just a little bit now. Look how volatile these articles are. They need to update their clickbait. While the market continues to digest Bitcoin's descent to $49,000 last week, signs, wow, was that just last week? 49K was a week ago?
In crypto time, though, that was 8 years.
I feel like that was 8 years ago. Feels like it was at least a month ago. But either way, signs that users are beginning to build up their Bitcoin are emerging. Glassnode said in a blog post on Tuesday, Bitcoin has faced several headwinds in August, including geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. Now, recessionary fears in the U.S., uncertainty around the Japanese yen, and a general risk-off mood felt most sharply at the beginning of the month. Now, again, three major fear factors that I don't necessarily agree or align with. One
when
is
they eat cockroaches.
Who's eating cockroaches?
Oh, I thought you said 4 fear factors I don't align with.
Oh, you were talking about the TV
I'm scared
show,
of heights.
Fear Factor.
Okay.
No.
We're on different pages there.
People,
Again.
I think,
My
are
bad.
fearful of the Middle East escalations, but the reality of the situation in the Middle East is we're becoming more and more energy independent. And so with what, of course, the new president, and there's a huge political shift going on in the Middle East, specifically in Iran right now. I don't expect them to do any crazy alt-right war. I think it's going to be the same conflict we gave it back and forth for the last 2 years, which is like, oh, you assassinated one of us in the middle of our hometown. We're going to shoot some rockets at you. And that's, that keeps going back and forth. And they've done this like 4 times now. So will we get those escalations? I don't necessarily know. But what I would say is that previously, the last 4 times that this has essentially happened,
I'll say this: when country
being a little bit
when
more
country A says to country B, we're going to shoot 8 missiles at you at 8 p.m. and we want you to intercept it. And that other country, they intercept those. Who's the big winner there? Defense contractors. It's not the taxpayers. It's not the country's citizens.
That's also true. In terms of the inflation numbers, though, I don't think necessarily that either of those will affect us on the grand scheme of things here, unless, like, again, the Strait of Hormuz were to somehow be interrupted. But I think from a diplomacy level, that's just not going to happen here in the near term. If it does, that's just a black swan event. Recessionary fears. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we have carriers over there to prevent it.
Yeah,
so
it's like we've sent like
is
more
slightly
over.
Unlikely.
So I would agree. So uncertainty around the Japanese yen, and of course that general risk-off mood felt most sharply at the beginning of the month. So we're getting a little bit more risk on here, and this might be in anticipation of the Fed pivot. This is just more liquidity entering these markets finally here. But last week's activity set shockwaves across all markets, following Japan's decision, and I already talked about this with the zero interest rate regime. So Bitcoin holders, meanwhile, have accumulated. We're getting positive purchasing and accumulation at these levels. 45% of Bitcoin supply hasn't moved in 6 months, and long-term holders seem unfazed by market swings, reinforcing their commitment to Bitcoin. So the people that are selling off right now are going to be your shrimp. Type 1 in chat if you're a shrimp. It's okay. I'm a shrimp. I only have 4 Bitcoin. Well, I don't even have 4 Bitcoin. My goal is 4 Bitcoin. I have a little bit over 1, and I will have a little bit less than that because I have to pay for a lot of very expensive things with my beautiful fiance here soon. But either way, I am ultimately looking forward to stacking those sats at these levels because you have your institutions, you have nation states, you have sovereign wealth funds. There's so much entering this game now. Do you believe that dollar cost averaging between 50 and 60K is a great opportunity, or is this something you would say is don't catch the falling knife?
I would say it's a good opportunity. I wouldn't go as far as great. I think, 10 years from now, your future self is going to thank you. Is there a period or is there a possibility Let's see, it's 2024. Is there a possibility that 2026 you will be like, you should have kept some on the sidelines because you got in cheaper at 38 or 41 or 27, maybe? Sure. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, though, you're going to be too upset putting a little DCA dollars into Bitcoin today.
Yeah, I am the same boat. Completely the same boat.
I think there will be a period next bear market we probably dip below 50.
But the best time to buy was always yesterday, right? Like that's kind of how it always ends up being. So in this case for us, we've been here nonstop since I think I got into crypto when Bitcoin was at $6,000. I was late to the game. I consider myself late. I came in after the 2018 crash when I saw everything plummeting and learned about XRP. But still, to even a lot of those individuals from 2018. They're now up massively. So even buying at the peak of 2018, it was still great entry points. And those now are looked at as great opportunity, zones in the long term. So I would have to say I completely agree with you here. We also have coming out of the markets day, Bitcoin realized price upholds $30,000 now. And if you guys don't know what this is, it's a gauge of market behavior by reflecting the average price at which all Bitcoins last moved on chain. Over the past year, Bitcoin's realized price has exhibited a steady upward trajectory, currently stabilizing near $30,000. This trend contrasts with Bitcoin's spot price, which experienced a sharp rise in early 2024, peaking over $70,000. What good times back then. However, since May 2024, the spot price has been seeing increased volatility, while the realized price has maintained a slow but consistent rise. So what is the takeaway from this? Why should you be watching this for your portfolios? Well, the divergence between the realized price and the spot price highlights an ongoing market trend where holders continue to accumulate. That is the powerful word right there, as the realized price often serves as a support level in previous bear markets. Its steady increase suggests a strong underlying demand, and this behavior highlights a cautious yet bullish sentiment in the market. And this is what we've been talking about relentlessly the last few probably months at this point, was that there's a much more cautious approach to Bitcoin. This is because of, one, global elections coming up. This is because of the Federal Reserve decisions with interest rates, where our inflation number is going to be in August. There is so many unknowns that are taking place on a macro scale right now. You have professors from Yale, from Harvard. You have literally the Treasury Secretary. You have the commissioners of the Federal Reserve all disagreeing with each other and having very different opinions on the growth of our markets, both from a GDP perspective and, of course, everything from monetary, fiscal policies, et cetera. And so, the number one discussion right now is simply, where are we heading in the next 4 years? Because no one can answer this.
No one can answer it. The point is of that, no one can really accurately predict macro trends. It's the hardest thing to predict. And historically, you'll point at someone, oh my God, they've gotten the macro trend right. And you're like, yeah, they did it once in 2009. They haven't done it since. Macro trends is the hardest thing to predict. The best at it, some would say Warren Buffett's really good at it, but some would say he creates macro trends. And I think there's some truth to that as well.
100%. He's a giant influencer, but for Wall Street, it's a completely different game that he's in. When he makes a decision, it moves markets. But I would argue too that you're going to look back in 10 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, wow, Michael Saylor was a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Unless somehow Bitcoin collapses and goes to zero.
I would say holding Bitcoin long term, yeah, that's a great macro bet. I think we all agree with that, though. Hit that like button if you think that's probably one of the best decisions you will make in your life.
Yeah, and what's the second best altcoin? What altcoins are you guys buying right now? Are you guys buying any altcoins? Personally, I'm obviously very heavily allocated to blue chips, but are you guys picking up anything right now? Ondo, 70%.
I revealed I bought a meme coin. I think it was last week. I bought some MAGA, finally. I finally bought some MAGA during that $3 and change dip. I don't know what it's at today. It's probably down for all I know. I bought a meme coin, so it went down. I did not like that I diminished my ETH portfolio. I bought some ETH yesterday.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
I know.
Nice.
I don't know when's the last time I did it. I just I spent ETH. I need to replace that ETH.
Yeah, it was $2,200, I think, when we bought like a few weeks back.
Yeah, you got a good dip.
We did pick that up, and then now we're taking advantage of the positions here. Which, by the way, guys, if you didn't watch last night's video, I do want to do a quick shout out to our studio sponsors here at Arculus, which you can see in the beautiful corner here where now my face is. But Arculus, guys, get yourself self-custody. Use code DC10 in the description below. You guys do not have self-custody, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to be taken advantage of. I mean, not only are we watching Operation Choke Point 2.0 roll out in front of us with banks being debanked because they cannot and should not, by the Federal Reserve standards, bank cryptocurrency companies, you're at risk to, of course, major downside effects in this market, which is exchanges closing down. So get yourself self-custody. If you don't have self-custody and you have Bitcoin, man, I do not want you to be that person that has to make up, why did you lose your crypto?
And you could buy some, or you could lock up some of these coins you've been buying Ondo, says Bill. ICP,
Ondo.
Moist Water, heck of a name. Arrow, Link, Ondo, AVAX, Solana, Render, Pepe, Monkey, Feces, Inu, Arrow, Jasmine, Dot.
Sorry, what did you
Sats.
just say?
I didn't want to cuss, I'll leave that to you. You get the one curse word there.
I love it. I love it.
Moved out of GRT into Render. I don't hate that play either.
Well, there is one last shout out we have to do that, and that, of course, is our members here. We have some really exciting news that we're going to be sharing with you guys upcoming here soon. But the second thing here, guys, is if you're not joined, make sure you do so you don't miss out our Friday members only streams here. But these last two videos, absolutely fire videos. You have 3 must-have positions in your portfolio with Deezy here covering this last night. And then in this video right here with Kamala saying she will end crypto, we go over her crypto policy, but better yet, I teach you guys in this what a very good opportunity might be in terms of the poly market. So betting on her in an upcoming specific date, which you'll have to watch that video for, and shorting her afterwards. You have to check
pull
that
up
out.
His YouTube page again one more time, if it's still up there. And if you watch my video, you're going to become sexier, smarter, and richer.
Is that what the 3 must-haves are? Is to have a,
look,
have a better life?
I heard if you watch
sexy,
it, those things happen.
Be rich. Choose rich. It's just that in the entire video. It just choose rich.
It's just Right Said Fred on repeat.
I love it. Right now, guys, we're up about $178 in this position. So the play is still holding right now, have not been stopped out here. Downside deviation below the reaccumulation range, low completes. Now Bitcoin is in the process of reclaiming the range low as support at $60,600. Have not quite reclaimed that support level just yet, but would like to see it over hopefully the next 12 hours here. Bitcoin's market dominance shows stable upward trend in 2024. I mean, every on-chain metric here, chat, is bullish. I mean, if someone in chat name one bearish on-chain metric, it is going to be volatile. This isn't going to be easy. I'm not here to hold your hand and say everything's going to be okay, or we're going to go on a golden brick road. Okay, it is going to be volatile. We're in an asset class that is smaller than the size of Amazon by about half. So we have a very long way to go, not only to become a mature industry, but within that maturity, you're going to have massive volatility, not only in Bitcoin, but especially in your altcoins. So your meme coins, your ISO coins, your whatever utility token or gaming token you're holding on to, they are going to be extremely volatile. But the truth is, the underlying truth is that Bitcoin accumulation is stronger than ever. So I really, again, hope and advocate we have really positive, clean crypto legislation.
I pulled up
here,
Bitcoin dominance chart
to pump
here.
that for our bags.
This is a long-term trend line that we're looking at here. The first part of this is March 2017, and you can see it hit right there. Then did kind of look like it was going to cool down, maybe even start curving to the downside. I can see a world where it started to do something like that. But it looks like, we have broken out of that. It's going to be interesting to watch this. Ben Cowan has made the prediction that we're going to go to 60%. I don't know if we go to 60%. That's going to be up here. What are your
Bitcoin
thoughts?
dominance?
Yeah, this is Bitcoin dominance.
I mean, I've been saying this the entire thing. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to grow extensively in this bull run. That hasn't changed. I mean, it had the first ETF.
I still have my Tether.
You'll have Ethereum
thesis.
Try to keep up with, but look at the inflows going to Bitcoin comparable to Ethereum. So even the amount of inflows going to Ethereum isn't enough to break that dominance, in my opinion. At least we haven't seen it yet.
My counter is there will be more stable coins that will forever keep that dominance lower and press down. And the fact that we need buyers of U.S. Treasuries seems to add some credence to my theory here.
What if we can't have stable coins?
It's not going to happen.
Well, there's legislation that's trying to be pushed through.
They buy U.S. Treasuries, so it won't happen.
I agree with you.
There
I
you
agree
go.
with you.
Okay.
So very interesting conversation here, but we'll get to it in a little bit, because I 100% agree with you. I think they're going to be the largest net buyers as well. What if stable coins are built on top of Bitcoin?
5 years from now, 10 years from now, Ben Cowan, others, they'll be talking about the Bitcoin minus stablecoin dominance.
Wow, holy smokes. Token tide here. 5 gifted. Discover memberships. Welcome to the Allies, or the Alliance here, guys. Appreciate you for all the support and love, guys. You will be able to tune in now with Cryptic Crabman here, Amy, Dawn, and Out of the Bins, baby. Welcome to the Alliance here, guys. After I just clicked on Grok. That is gone forever. After my short hiatus, Bitcoin is back above the 200-day EMA and back above the range lows. Another shakeout survived. All eyes on $70,000 here, according to Jelly. on Twitter here. Great technical analyst trader I have followed for a very long time. Bitcoin traders eye potential rally with 2.5 billion in USDT and USDC inflows. The Bitcoin price has surged another 3% today, shooting past $61,000. Obviously, now back down to 59K. We saw a liquidation grab. Bitcoin traders are expecting a potential bullish impact regarding the massive inflows of stablecoins. What are your thoughts on stablecoin inflows, dude?
So what was that time period for the stablecoin inflows? Because as you're doing that, I was pulling up something to kind of counter
It's just
that.
over the last few days, I would imagine. It doesn't give us a day.
Okay, maybe
Doesn't
the
give us a
past
time
week.
frame.
Okay, so
Last 24 hours.
Okay, 24 hours. So 2.5 billion. All right, well, we also have Bitcoin. You know, how's that fallen in 24 hours? Going from 1.2, so 2.5 billion is 1.1. It's actually about equal. So we had a diminishment in stable coins, and then it's about equal to the price swing that we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Looks like the market cap fell about 2.5 billion right there.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm expecting probably a bit of upside action here. I think I made a video a few days back where we'd come back down to 57,000. Then after the CPI, more than likely run up to about 63, 64K. When we look at the liquidation gaps, guys, here we go. Take a shot, guys. You guys know what to do. You guys know what emoji to spam in the comments there for us. But of course, you guys know this. You have to take a drink every time I explain this. You want to buy when it is in the red and sell when it's in the green, right? What do I mean by that, guys? When the green side's higher than the red side, it is bullish on the market. So as we look at this today, again, the daily is a little bit more bullish. We could come down to 58,000, but we could easily get a bounce back up to that 62K level. Ethereum as well. We're looking at maybe a downside action to 26.24. There's some liquidations down here, but most of the liquidations are now above us at 26.84, which is why we entered that scalp trade here this morning, up almost $200 or so, 5% right now on this trade. Would like to close out around 2680. I think that would be a fantastic play there. We'd also be looking at about a $600, $700 profit in that portfolio position today, which would be beautiful. But when you zoom out, okay, which is what's most important, the 7-day, still a little bit more bearish on Ethereum and I believe Bitcoin here. Again, a little bit more bearish, but starting to consolidate. And that 30-day is what we want to look at long-term, which is bullish on Bitcoin's price action. So we're seeing this kind of tug of war at the 57,500 to 59,500 level that has shown us we have significant accumulation as well as consolidation at these levels. And now more than likely, we are going to see a breakout in sometime the next 2 to 3 weeks here. And that does look to be towards the upside. I don't know if you have a take on that. Wow, we just got a massive jump here. Up $300 now on Ethereum. Go eat.
Okay.
Go, baby.
Things are starting to move.
Let's go.
You know what, though? I will do. Let's check on the short. Let's go ahead. Short's still good. Good. I might go ahead and get that stop loss into profit, though, because you never know what's going to go. And let me just kind of talk you what I'm thinking here. I want to come in a little bit above this wick so I don't get wicked out. And so that's going to be my wick out protection right there.
Wick out protection. Make sure you wrap it, slap it, and put it. Never mind. That was going to be wrong.
What
were you talking about?
You're going to try to get us demonetized.
Well, recent trends and changes in fund behavior, the historical correlation between Bitcoin E and, of course, the Bitcoin price has shown a consistent pattern where changes in the fund's reserves generally precede movements in Bitcoin's price. And if we're looking at this chart again, this would be, I would imagine, bullish is what they're trying to put out here. We have to go to the link here, but over 1 billion in USDT was withdrawn from exchanges yesterday, marking the largest Tether outflow since May. That is a crazy 180 from our last
this is pretty cool. FBI had to respond to a Freedom of Information request here. They had to break silence on who is Satoshi Nakamoto. But folks, I don't think they gave us all the papers. I don't think they gave us all the files here. They had a very, very small amount of actual meat to this. One or more third-party individuals is who it could be. That is all they had. Adding it can neither confirm nor deny their existence there. Of course, there's a lot of this was brought about by Dave Troy, by the way. Now, there's a lot of speculation on who it might be. They're saying, and I would agree with this, the most popular and plausible Satoshi candidate is none other than cyberpunk legend Hal Finney. He passed away in 2014 after suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease. You know what? This is exactly who, was it? Vitalik actually thinks is Hal Finney.
Yeah, a lot of people. But there's so many.
Some say CIA, NSA.
Yeah. Some say CIA.
Drew, who do you think? Chat, who do you think?
God,
Laserface thinks NSA.
All right, so if it's
NSA owns the 264.
NSA computer research or cryptographic researchers
it's along the lines of NSA, but I think it's DARPA. So
you think it's what?
DARPA.
DARPA.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your DARPA ties?
I mean, it's kind of the OG for the design of the internet, and it's connected to the government. But I mean, Hal Finney is who I hope it was. It's just this. I keep
You're
I
saying we'll
keep
never
being
know.
pessimistic on things, and honestly, with the collapse of the U.S. dollar lining up with previous nation states, I think that the U.S. government saw an opportunity to create something that was on the outside, looking in, fair to everyone, but then they retained power. So.
Might close this here in a second. I like
Some
the
are saying
5%.
XRP founder Jed McCaleb is one of the four.
Jed
It's the
McCaleb
Satoshi
definitely
four.
not. Jed McCaleb's the guy that gets in and gets out. I would say David Schwartz. You're looking at, again, Hal Finney, a lot of the cypherpunks, but cryptography has been around and owned by the military for years and years and years and years. So I would imagine it's some branch that discovered it. And what built off of that, I could not. I would say there's a lot of ties that need to be questioned, but never will be. Either way, X has now donated $370,000 to the Republicans. Meta, Google, and LinkedIn donated $26 million to the Democrats. But all of a sudden, Elon Musk and X is dangerously pushing political views. What a clown world. Yeah, I don't even know how you trust certain individual at this point. I mean, it's so toxic out there. I mean, there is so many negative headlines on the conversation, which if you guys listen to it, it was a normal conversation. It wasn't anything crazy.
Well, let me be fair. Yesterday, I criticized his lisp. Chad was saying it's a bad lisp. I totally agree. The lisp sounded very bad. In fact, it was so bad, I was thinking, I think his candidacy is maybe in question now. If you saw the original footage, much less lisp there.
Yeah.
There's an audio compression. So I just want to be fair. I criticized him yesterday having a bad lisp. It looks like if you look at the original footage, definitely not nearly as bad. So
yeah, I mean,
I take that back.
He also, I think it was leaked that, and this was like 10, 20 years ago, that he has like a hole in his roof. So he has something at the top of his mouth as well that actually might cause that. I don't know. There is so much more to it, but I was like, is that where we're picking on here? We're going to close out this position.
I think that's a fine criticism.
A moment.
Communication skills.
But I mean, are we going to like ignore the fact that he spoke for 2 hours without a stutter?
No, yeah. I mean, I would say his main competitor has not done anything like that, and so, but that might be a smart decision from her camp for her to get elected. I'm not saying it's great for Americans, just it's a smart choice.
Yeah, we're closing the position here, by the way, guys. We're taking that 3%, 4% profit here. I don't know if this is going to pull back here, but I'm going to go into the next article and cannot watch it and do not want to adjust the stop loss off here. So took about $120 in profit right there. That was a beautiful play on that trade. Moving on, though. Yeah, I mean, talking about, what's happening here, though, is I would just like to see Kamala go on an interview at this point. I think the world deserves to see what her political viewpoints are. This is elections, guys. This isn't political identity. We should be focusing on, what the policies are, what they're going to do to actually change things that they say they're going to. Those are the conversations I want to have. And it's very clearly one-sided when you have the European Commission attacking Elon Musk and Trump for, having a conversation and saying that this is somehow election interference when we just watched Trump abide by every restriction the media made to have a debate early with Biden that, of course, ended in him dropping out in the entire race. So it's just like we need this on both sides. There should be podcasts on both sides. Kamala should not only go on podcasts on X, but she should also do them on her viewpoints if she wants, like Breakfast Club. Like they should be doing both political sides of the spectrum here. You should not be scared. What I want to see is somebody who is running for presidency that is going to sit down with Xi Jinping and Putin that are going to have completely different, viewpoints on both life and, monetary policies, fiscal policies, that everything. They need to be able to have those conversations. Not something we've seen yet. New evidence suggests VP Harris could escalate Biden's crypto crackdown. Experts warn. This is, of course, what my video is on here. Anybody that wants to continue to somehow advocate for her and is a pro-crypto, somebody that has crypto, wants pro-crypto legislation. I mean, there's been huge breakdowns now on who her advisors are, part of her economic council, who she'll be nominating, of course, from the executive branch as a United States president in the positions of power, like the United States Treasury Secretary. This includes individuals like Brian Deese and Bharat. And if you guys need to go check that out and want to know what it is, go watch last night's video. Again, leads Kamala Harris will end crypto. That is not clickbait. That is their policies. All their policies are very restrictive here, and it's going to hurt your altcoin bags.
I got a hot take on this.
Go for it.
Kamala will be the president, but Trump's going to win the election.
What do you mean?
We are not alleging that there's any fraud that will happen, by the way.
Like, I think she's going to have the popular vote.
Think so?
Yeah,
I doubt that.
There's, from an electoral standpoint, the Republicans have a much higher advantage. But from a popular vote, based off whatever pollings and data they want to, say exist, I think Kamala might actually take it, which is why we need the debates. I think after the debates, the conversation will pivot if he, completely, runs through her in a debate. But if not, it is you're 100. This is going to come down to hundreds of thousands of votes on who's more than likely president of the United States in November. So it's going to be very, very tight. Operation Choke Point 2.0 under Biden here. Yes, Biden. Kamala Harris and Democrats, Elizabeth Warren, Fed Powell, Gary Gensler is freaking real here. This is an 86-page denial order, the longest in Fed history. Caitlin Long details why she believes the Fed's rejection of Custodia Bank was politically motivated. I believe she is actually the founder as well here. Take a listen to this 1.5-minute clip if you guys don't believe me.
Who I won't disclose that person's name during that process, and explain to me what has become very clear as time went on and we see the rest of the crackdown on the crypto industry.
Trump's never lost a debate.
Politically motivated. The 86-page order was the longest order in Fed history denying any applicant by a long shot. The longest one in the entire 115-year history of the Fed. Prior to that was 3 pages, and ours was 86. That tells you something right there. But what I found out was that it was entirely about crypto, and they were backpapering the file by saying all those things. And Laura, there were a lot of inaccurate things in that order that the Fed refused to correct. We actually filed a complaint with the Fed's Inspector General, which of course went nowhere. And they refused to correct the factual inaccuracies in that order. So it's nuts what happened. That was at the beginning. It was very confusing to us because we didn't know Operation Choke Point 2.0 was in full swing. In retrospect, clearly that's what it was.
Insane. Absolutely insane. We're just, I don't know how people are going to just defend this at this point. I mean, it's just policy after policy that they have failed at. Now the attacks on freedom of speech. You have Walls, who is somebody who advocates for, shutting down a lot of, social media outlets and, restricting what you can and can't say online.
He shot people on their porch with paintballs. He didn't do it, but his state.
Let's be
authorities
cautious
in
there.
his state did that.
But, with that comes with, freedom of code. What can we do with our monetary policies in the U.S. and what we've seen over the last, again, the choke point, guys, this is what I've been telling you guys, this is what I've been warning you about, is as this gets choked out in the United States, you have to realize what that means globally. It means Russia's going to adopt it. China's going to adopt it. North Korea is going to adopt it. And now the same advisors and the same people mentored by Elizabeth Warren, who is also going to be part of the Harris administration, especially if she is elected, are going to utilize that as a national security threat and restrict our rights and crypto in the United States even more and more and more until they choke it out of the system entirely. Crypto will survive with or without them. It doesn't matter who's elected in that sense. But to sit here and say that it's not going to affect your positions, your portfolios, your regulation, and your policy in the United States is just, you're lying to yourself at this point. You need to wake up and realize that if this happens, this becomes the #1 national security threat. This is probably going to affect, they're going to tie it into climate change, of course, with the environmentalism around Bitcoin mining. They're going to slap 30 to 40% taxes on all Bitcoin miners in the U.S. Again, forcing that as well out of the U.S. is on top of it. None of that is bullish for crypto.
You know what the real
in the short term.
climate crisis is? 8 times people die more likely from cold weather than warm. You're 8 times more likely to die.
But the conversation is going to be
real
around
danger, everybody.
Like climate change is real. I mean, it's like we can't be having oil spills in the ocean and it's not going to affect.
Oh well,
reefs,
I think everybody's for clean
CO2's
waterways,
up.
clean oceans. I don't think anyone's against clean oceans.
Like pollution in LA hurts everybody's head. It's like, what's that going to do in 10 years if we keep, there's things there's initiatives we got to take, but a lot of that can be solved with Bitcoin mining through modulars. And literally you can absorb all those CO2 and those greenhouse emissions.
Speaking of which, there's the hacker conference happening right now. That's always been a, really, really cool place. A lot of people are involved with cryptocurrency are at this hacking conference. I believe it is in Las Vegas every time. It's the DEF CON. DEF CON did something pretty cool. This is from Politico. The nation's best hackers found vulnerabilities in certain types of machines, but no time to fix them. No big deal. It is not going to be secure this cycle. No big deal, though. There's no time to fix
that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Somehow, like, you're immediately labeled, for example, here, like Juan, MAGA boy. Like, they're using it as a slur, dude. Like, just, it is so immature and just, it's shocking because when we go into elections, we're people that are focusing on policy. Kamala, Juan, maybe one policy in the chat that she has besides her stolen policy from. Trump.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah,
You said no
so,
stolen policy.
My point is this. It should be about policy, but it's about political identity. And I just really hope people realize what I mean by that and actually, listen up here. RFK Jr. goes there. He says the European Union engaged in election interference by trying to censor Elon Musk's conversation with Donald Trump. Of course, I don't think anything will happen of this, even though we saw the Russian collision. Remember that in 2020?
Yeah,
Or was that 2016?
Yeah, the
that was
Steele
2016.
dossier funded by the Clinton
Hillary,
campaign.
yeah, she got slapped on the wrist for like $8,000 in 2022
Uh,
after all of that
yeah.
election interference. Yeah,
and we're
but-
not talking about bleaching.
Which, by the way, her and her husband are speaking at the DNC, but you guys are cool with that. Make it make sense, dude. They're silencing him. That is election interference. That's coming from RFK Jr. here. Triggers some haters here. I don't even know what this is. Is this just a meme?
Oh, it's just AI.
Oh, just
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
that. Speculation heats up. Potential meeting between Cardano founder and Elon Musk gains traction. To the Cardano holders here, DZ, I got to leave this story up to you because was he or was he not at Charles Hoskinson's ranch?
All right, well, let's pull up my Twitter. I actually tweeted about it. If we go to dz.eth right here, you can follow me. Make sure you're following me here. Long Ada, this is what I saw. Doing the real Donald Trump space at my friend's ranch in Wyoming. Those who know, Charles Hoskinson has a large ranch in Wyoming, one of the largest privately owned ranches. And then in the comment section, Chucky Ho Ho himself. Nice ranch, like the woodwork. The person has good taste. Ada Whale, nice ranch, JPEG store. Please tell me where this is where I think it is. But breaking news. He actually has posted, I think, some sort of response here. If we go here, click on replies. Hopefully he's not like posting anything weird. He actually admits that it's not his. All right, we had some good fun. Musk flew to Jackson and went to Peter Thiel's place. My ranch is in Wheatland. Peter Thiel, that's the same name as the Marathon CEO. Marathon
Peter
CEO's
Thiel?
name is Peter Thiel. I assume it's the same.
Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely Peter Thiel. That's back
Unless Fred has a different brother.
I would
named
imagine
Peter.
they're having conversations around the. I think if Trump wins, you're going to see an efficiency committee developed. I think you'll see Elon a part of.
And shout out to
which
Rare
is huge.
Evo. I'm not
Huge.
going to be at Rare Evo this year. I missed it. I have been kind of guys. We're still freaking.
Let's do two things. We got almost
spit
one.
from
We almost
Nashville
got
still.
1,200 people watching, guys. Let's close that gap here on the like button, guys. Let's hit 500 likes. All you guys got to do is make sure you turn your phone sideways, hit that little like button. Super easy to do. Spam the emojis, boosts us in the algorithm, and helps us out. But second of all, guys, just type one in chat. Do you think the government, when they spend money, should be held accountable? Should they have audits? Should they report on where they're spending taxpayer dollars? I'm just curious if you guys think so. If not, I guess that's your opinion.
That's a tough subject because remember the Pentagon, September 10th. When you hold them to an audit,
when you hold them to a lot of
trillions
audits,
of dollars go missing, and then the conversation changes for 2.5 decades. So,
2.5 decades here. We haven't passed a single audit. I would like a ranch in Wyoming. I would love them too. Let's get 500. Hit those likes, guys. Hit those likes. You guys know what to do. We see all the ones coming in. So very clearly, take that in consideration when you're going to the polls in November.
Someone asking about the Crypto for Harris event. Yeah, 8 p.m. tonight, 8 to 9:30 is the keynote speakers. They got a whole bunch of people on there. And so, yeah, they're going to have the Crypto for Harris.
Is she showing up this time? She skipped last time.
I don't think she's going to speak, but we are going to have the outspoken owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban's going to be there.
Mark, this is the second time they're trying to host something for Crypto for Harris, and she's still not speaking. Still no public acceptance. And meanwhile, she's putting together an anti-crypto army.
That could be a smart
those
decision.
happening?
That is probably a smart decision for her to speak less.
Oh,
You
it's
take
definitely
that
her
for whatever it
strategy.
means.
It's definitely her strategy. It's the same strategy used for Biden for
No, I'm
3.5
saying it's a
years. Keep him
smart
out of the
strategy.
media. Keep him out of the media as much as possible. Yeah, no, it's definitely a smart strategy. I completely agree with you. Guys, we hit 300 likes, guys. Keep smashing that like button. Appreciate you guys here. $35 trillion U.S. debt is now the biggest short, according to macro guru Roman. Here's why. Veteran macro investor Luke Roman warns holders of U.S. Treasuries that their investments will likely turn to be unprofitable. In a new interview with Nicole Shanahan, pronounced her name wrong on the last part of that, which, by the way, was Robert F. Kennedy's vice presidential running mate. Roman says the United States' lack of domestic manufacturing capacity is becoming a threat to national security here. Roman argues that the real value of U.S. debt is the biggest short. He explains that while U.S. Treasury investors will be able to get their money back, he believes your purchasing power of the dollar will eventually plummet. 100% true. We need to start bringing, again, energy production domestically, which will increase tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of jobs. We also need to incentivize what we were talking about a little bit earlier, the crypto adoption, because that is going to coincide with the largest U.S. Treasury buyers.
We also need, I can't really say.
It just makes sense. How does it not make sense?
Drew, there's a group of people, I want to say who, and they like to drink teas, right? What do you call them in the basement? I don't want to get,
You're talking about the technological tea party, the Bitcoin boogaloo? What are we talking
No,
about?
I was talking about, I'll just say, the Houthis. We need them to stop firing rockets at ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and then that will also reduce inflation.
Yeah, they're proxies of Iran, and, they're just another arm of Iran. And I kind of have a different take on this conflict. I don't think it's just going to be padded out and no big deal.
But shipping container costs, if that goes up, the price of goods goes up. That increases
very much
inflation.
So. That's a major pinch point for world trade.
Yeah, the cargo rates, I believe, is what they measure.
We got. I mean, I know that we've kind of gotten desensitized to bad news and stuff like that, but buckle up because I think 2026 is going to get real nasty. So.
2026?
Now he's changed.
2 years?
I pressed him if anything crazy happened in 2025. Now he's saying 2026.
Well, no,
Typical
actually, I
Drew.
think. No, I'm talking about the third world championship. Domestically, I think 2025 is going to get nuts in January because I think Trump's going to win if they have the elections open, and the other side's going to lose their mind, and city centers are going to be a problem.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, lots of interesting opinions here in the chat. How do I make the chart screen behind DZ's head? I don't think we have a link to that, do we? Whatsoever.
How is that a brand? Do we know what it's called?
No idea.
No idea.
I know they just sent
we'll
it
try
to
to figure
us.
that
It
out.
just came in the mail.
Rusty Bot, we'll try to figure it out.
Global debt hits a massive $315 trillion in Q1 2024. It has skyrocketed by $15 trillion in just the last 12 months. As a percentage of the world GDP, it is 333%. In other words, global debt is more than 3 times larger than the economy. And since the COVID crisis, it has increased by $55 trillion. That is the largest divergence I've ever seen in my life.
There's a brand name on it. It says Crypto Box, but I feel like it's such a vague name. You probably have 50 million things pop up.
The Crypto Box.
It's a Crypto Box.
It's a Crypto Box. Well,
That sounds
Pennsylvania.
like Trump talking about crypto. You put your storage in the Oculus. It's like a little crypto box.
Well, we got bullish news for Truflation here. A RWA project that I do actually hold a little bit of. But Truflation, if you want to pull up the chart for it, we'll see what's happening with Pennsylvania State University and Truflation team up to rethink housing inflation metrics. A critical economic indicator that impacts everyone from individuals to businesses to policymakers is inflation, particularly in the housing sector. The standard techniques for calculating inflation have been to use traditional instruments like the PCE report, the personal consumer price.
They used to rely on government data, and then they're starting to realize, that's not accurate. And so they're probably going to have to start collecting their own data.
Perfect. So in their words, existing techniques for calculating housing inflation have shortcomings and irregularities.
The government lies to you about inflation, and they're like, the government's clearly lying to us. So this isn't good data that we're sharing.
So they're looking to come up with a new report. And what are we at right now? Up 7%? I'm missing that?
Okay.
I pulled it up here. So up 7% off that announcement. Still down quite a bit. It has been bleeding since, it launched right at the Bitcoin halving. The worst time to launch.
Not a good time.
Not the best time to launch, but hey, we'll see what happens in this upcoming bull run. This one is a long time in the works. Brian Armstrong tweeted, Aloha, Hawaii. From Oahu to Kauai, Coinbase is now available to all residents of the Hawaiian Islands to buy, sell, and manage crypto.
You know what Hawaiians are saying right now?
To.
Hell yeah, that's fire.
That's
not
Maui.
Oh my God,
easy. Should I just walk away?
Was that
now?
a Maui fire joke?
That was too soon.
No, they're protected by the blue.
Oh my God!
But Coinbase is safe from fires because it's
you guys
blue.
are so
if you live
banned.
if you live in the same state as Oprah and she paints a roof, copy her. Some would say. I don't know if there's. I don't think there's anything there.
Well, either way, a giant step from Coinbase announced a new Bitcoin project. Here are the details. Coinbase has announced that it will soon launch Coinbase Wrapped Bitcoin CB BTC. Jesse Pollock, the head of Coinbase and Coinbase's Layer 2 network Bay, shared a post about CB BTC from their official X account. While Coinbase hinted that CB BTC will be launched soon, Jesse said that he would establish a large Bitcoin economy system on the Base network. Interestingly enough, the Coinbase's announcement of its own wrapped Bitcoin comes after news broke where Justin Sun said he would have wrapped Bitcoin as well. This is just more Bitcoin adoption. More
the
DeFi
markets
on
are
Bitcoin.
down. Everything is down. You would think Arrow will have a positive day, right? This is huge news for Arrow.
Probably bleeding.
Well, what is Arrow doing? It's green. Arrow's actually, I would say this is pretty bullish for the Base ecosystem, bullish for the Arrow ecosystem as well, because Bitcoin is down And so, all the altcoins are down as well. And so, yeah, seeing it slightly in the green is pretty positive.
And to, jump off of that, for everybody that holds Bitcoin DeFi, if you guys are holding things like Ordi Swap still, it's, I think, the only Bitcoin DeFi I hold. I think there's a few other ones as well. Honestly, I got to look at my positions again. But CBBTC is interesting because now people can buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, then transfer it out of Base for basically free and access a plethora of DeFi loans, yield trading, etc. for only 0.00001% transaction. That is the power of Bitcoin on Base.
Boy, oh boy, if this ecosystem ever gets hacked or, any wallet is compromised, that is bad news for Bitcoin.
Well, not for me, because I have an Arculus wallet, and that is one tap total security here, which will keep you guys safe and secure from any hacks and any, exchanges going under. So make sure you guys go check that out. Code DC10 in the description below. Nice find by MDudas. Base has 50% essentially share of active addresses in August thus far. An impressive majority, and if they pass 50%, it would mean they're a literal majority. That's above Arbitrum, Linea, ZK Sync, OP Mainnet, Scroll, Mantle, Zora, Takeo, never even heard of that, Blast, and 9 others taking the lead there. What are your thoughts on that as a layer 2?
Base is just growing and growing and growing in all the metrics, and I don't really see it slowing down because as a user of the Base ecosystem, it is fast and cheap.
Fast and cheap.
I'll tell you what, once they add Tether, that's when it's really going to explode, because they don't really have, it doesn't have Tether support in any kind of real way.
And they need the stablecoin adoption massively. I agree. Spot Ethereum ETFs record $24 million in net inflows. We covered this a little bit while back. There was a good amount of outflows from Grayscale, but there is some adoption coming in with the Ethereum ETFs, as they have initially some significant outflows. But recent data shows things are stabilizing now with these outflows, and they're starting to increase.
I like the trend. I see a little trend there.
There's a little trend.
The trend is your friend, and it will create the price descend.
Almost to ascend?
To ascend.
Because it's descending.
Yeah.
Not to descend.
And hit that like button, women and men.
Descend into the comments.
In between.
And hit that like button. There we go. We're digging out of this. Bullish crypto trader borrows $12 million to buy Ethereum this week. Is this a good trade? Yes or no, chat? Let me know. Just yes or no. Is taking a $12 million loan out to buy Ethereum a smart trade? Yes or no?
Current price right now, would I consider it a good deal? ETH at 26.44? Yeah, but maybe not cash out in a month, but cash out in 12 months? Perfect.
Perfect. Well, there is some bullish things taking place on the Ethereum network, and that is that now over 30% of Ethereum is staked. And the increased supply in 2024 is around $170 million. The inflow in the past 10 days of Ethereum is $130 million. So if this inflow starts to pick up momentum, the impact on Ethereum's price is going to be significantly bigger than Bitcoin. This is for people that are really hoping to see that true alt season come into play here. Recession indicator now suggesting altcoins time to shine against Bitcoin approaching. Benjamin Cowan, in a new YouTube video, Cowan points his 807 whopping thousand subscribers here to the SOM rule. Recession indicator, which tracks signals that could indicate the start of a recession. This is going to be an interesting one because the SOM rule came again out of left field at the same time of course, the Japanese yen crisis that we are witnessing that people just jumped on. There's like 3 new SOM rules labeled on the Federal Reserve Economic Data website, which just means there's a lot of clicks going that way. The point is that it is giving a signal, which means whether you believe a recession is coming or not, it means looser monetary policy is coming. True. That's what it means. And if looser monetary policy is coming, then Bitcoin dominance is going to be topping relatively soon. Could have already happened theoretically. I still think September at the earliest, maybe December at the latest. That's my general view, and we're starting to see some of the reasons why. The labor market is showing weakness. Looking at job openings per unemployment worker. Look at job openings per unemployed worker. It is back to pre-pandemic levels. They haven't cut rates yet. So easier monetary policy coming in. I would say my thoughts on this is, again, I don't think the Bitcoin dominance is changing anytime soon. It will be sometime next year if we do get that breakout. But again, to get that breakout, you will already have altcoins moving up. So will we get altcoins moving?
Yeah, the markets are about to signal an appetite for risky behavior. And if it's risky, that's good for altcoins.
Daily active users by blockchain. TronDAO consistently leads with high amount of daily active users, followed by recent surge in activities on Ronin and BNB network. Wow, Tron taking the lead here. Grayscale continues expansion spree with MakerDAO. MakerDAO, by the way, is going to be launching their RWA plays, which is extremely bullish. The tokenization Grand Prix has started. That is what I'm talking about. To onboard 1 billion in tokenized real-world assets to MakerDAO is open to all innovators and issuers interested in competing to shape the future of tokenized public securities and their place in decentralized finance. The Stakehouse Phi team has shared a detailed request for proposal RFP on the market or the Maker forum. This is just bullish because you guys know I think RWAs are going to be one of the biggest narratives of this bull run. And of course, U.S. Treasury specifically, tokenizing them is one of the most bullish plays. Now up to $1.94 billion. It is up to the right, hitting new all-time highs almost each and every single day. And this to me, guys, is just incredibly bullish if you guys are looking to, have a exposure to some narrative within the crypto sector, right? RWA is just one part of the entire sector. You have, DeFi, you have DEXs, you have, Web3 gaming, AI, DePIN, you go on. And this is one of my favorite categories there. CRV rallies 43%. Is there more room for gains here?
Actually, I was on a Mario Spaces yesterday, and I was talking about if Trump wins, Curve and Maker could see a significant boost. Aave as well, because I think if Trump comes in, he's going to signal more U.S. Treasuries should be bought by stablecoins. And if we have an increased stablecoin ecosystem, that is going to be good for these legacy DeFi corporations like Curve, Maker, Aave, and the others. Maybe even synthetics.
That was so MAGA of you.
I might as well just wear the red hat, right?
I'm just waiting for the one comment. DZ's full of MAGA? Oh my gosh, dude.
I've shared this publicly. I've never voted for a Republican in my life. I didn't vote in 2020. I'm not going to be able to say that a year from now, probably.
Hell yeah. That's what.
Comptroller. My local it's the local comptroller. That's what I'm referring to.
Well, so we'll
I'm
see
really
if tokenized
heated about it.
I agree though. Tokenized treasuries could be a huge category in this upcoming election with positive. And obviously we've seen it from the lobbyists. I mean, I can actually pull up the tokenization efforts that we've been seeing from these committees and these lobbyist groups. They're very, very proactive. So, if we do get a very positive legislative approach, again, I 100% agree with you. I think it's going to grow either way. Because the market for treasuries, though, just so you guys know, the United States tokenized treasuries, while we can't have them as securities in the United States yet because of rules and regulation, companies like Ondo, all of their clients are outside of the U.S.
I'll tell you this, the Treasury doesn't care who's leading the administration. Sure, the head,
exactly.
But they don't really care. Let's see here. What's your bull peak prediction date? I'm still September 2025. If it hits that month, I'm going to be feeling raw. There you go. Laser face.
Yeah, for me, I have no clue. I just have no clue. I know we're going to be higher in the future, and that is the focus right now. It's really just making sure we get on the right side of history at this point. I missed Easy's market cap. I love that hat.
I think I still have it at the desk.
Trump picking Vance pushed me to RFK. RFK is not going to win, but hey,
I think RFK is a fantastic candidate.
I would agree, but he's going to be on what, 7 ballots? He might be on more than that, but it just at this point. The DNC changed the rules 60. He should have been allowed to run for the Democratic nomination. Another issue I have with the Democratic Party was the readvisory of the rules for the DNC to favor Biden. Then obviously them have a early debate in terms of election cycles and then replace them with a view. That is just so anti-democratic. It is wild.
Someone said, ICP, please. Folks, go 3 days ago. This altcoin is finished. I'm selling now. It's actually all these people's takes said Cardano is dead. ICP is dead. If I click on it, maybe, we can find out what the third coin was that was also dead and how I disagree with them and how they couldn't be more wrong. But I break down ICP. Really, really good breakdown for that. So if you want more ICP content, is this one right here. This altcoin is finished. It's an ICP video.
We got the raw. I love the one. If you scroll up here, you ain't landed your audience. That's why you're not getting likes. Guys, if you're pro crypto, right, that is what we are on this channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And just newsflash, our numbers are crushing it. Your guys' support, your guys' follow. We appreciate all of you, all the love. Month over month, we are crushing it right now with the community out there, guys. So I am very excited to see where these markets go. I'm very excited to be here every single day with you, DZ, TJ, Drew, everybody a part of the Discovery team here and help navigate this crazy crypto market along the way. So that one's going to be awkward for you guys. Let's hit that 500 like button here. We can do it. What are we at right now? We're at almost 400 likes, 1,100 people watching. 500 by the end of the stream would be insane. Appreciate you guys for all the support coming in here. Pushing us our For You page.
Bullish on Pith's story and narrative. I don't know if he'll be the #1 player in 5 years, but the narrative is there.
Ondo prediction. I think if we have, again, it's based off a lot that's happening macroly, but I think if we have, again, that positive tokenization momentum moving into 2025, 2026, you're looking probably at a $5 Ondo, $7 Ondo peak bull run there. I can't give you a 6-month prediction because it all is going to matter and come down to there's a lot of policy shifts that will happen in November. So we want to make sure that we're keeping up to date with all of that, not just a 6-month prediction there for you guys. But long-term bull run, I'm very bullish on it. GRA What about Mina? Do you have thoughts on Mina here?
I actually put up Mina right here. I'm still a holder. The price action does not look good. So I went to their public comms and see, are they still building? Are they still doing things here? It seems like they're pretty engaged with the community, and they're doing the panels and stuff. So still holding. The whole story with Mina, we had that literal billionaire, that guy that runs that big mining Bitcoin farm in Georgia, an actual billionaire. It's not often you meet a billionaire. He said buy it, so I bought it. I shared my rationale. I said, folks, I haven't talked to the team. A actual billionaire who's a Bitcoin whale said he likes it. I liked it.
And I would have to say we're skipping the ads, guys. So I agree with Venno here. But as we answer questions, guys, let us know your Q&A right now on your favorite altcoins, whatever it is. Let us know your questions in the comments. But if you guys don't have a question, let me know where you're from. Like Giuliano here, who's from Portugal. It's good to see you, man.
All right.
I'd love to see you tuning in from there. I'm curious to see where our audience is from. I know a lot of us are American, some UK, some Australian. But give me where are you guys
some
from?
People from India. I know there's Sri Lanka. I know there's some of those. We got some South Africans.
That's awesome.
Brazil. Thoughts on HBAR? What are your thoughts on HBAR?
Hedera Hashgraph, I would be betting on Constellation DAG, another great partner of our studio, but not just because they're a partner, because of just the direction. HBAR has had years and years of, chances at taking the right marketing approaches as a public network. They have a great governance council, but I haven't seen them really hit the nail in the coffin, whatever you want to say, in terms of executing a proper marketing team for retail on Hedera's network. So it hasn't gained that retail attention. For that reason, I don't expect Hedera to be a Solana, to be a Base, to be, a layer 2 that has that retail exposure. We saw it with Phantom.
It's very crowded
Phantom was
now.
a copy and paste, essentially, of Hedera in 2021. Did massive gains, right? Hedera's already successful, a multi-billion-dollar market cap project. I expect it to, yes, see some positive price action to Boron, but I don't expect it to make me any
may not be a winner
gains.
in its field.
Yes.
Netherlands, the name is Goose. That sounds about right. Italy, Milwaukee, Florida, Minnesota, Canada, the Villages. Are you one of the people? Greeting from Belgium, Lawrenceville, Northern Ireland, New Jersey. All right. Australia, China, possibly. All right. Shout out to China. We love the Chinese citizens, everybody. We really do. UK, England, Australia. Waltz also loved going to Tiananmen. I don't know. I'm sorry if I said that and it messed up here.
Don't say those words.
Yeah, don't say that.
Honeymoon
Seattle.
in China.
All right. Are you in Chaz? Are you
Bernie
in Chaz?
Sanders honeymoon in Russia.
Okay, really?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Well, no,
your
because
largest socialist honeymooned.
No, it's a Soviet. I mean, it's a socialist bastion. So why wouldn't he go there?
Well,
I wonder if he went to the gulags.
So if that's
he saw the real face of socialism.
Why have I think Tim Waltz has been to China 30 plus times.
Fun story on Stalin. Stalin created the second largest killer of humans, some would say, of the modern history. Stalin did something called collectivism, which is very close to socialism and communism. Collectivism, he tried to collect all the farms into one collective. So like we all grow food together and we share it together. The problem was they had to grab all the equipment and then distribute the equipment. So they grabbed your hose, your tractors, your equipment, whatever it was, they went and they collected. It was part of the collectivism. They didn't distribute the tools in time for that year's crop, and they didn't plant crops in time, and they had massive starvation. And so Stalin is responsible for tens of millions of people perishing.
Very similar to Mao there, guys. Yeah. But hey, as you guys are on your way out of starving, I guess, I don't know, are you going to go to lunch? We're going to go to lunch. I'm hungry now.
As you go fight collectivism. We're not going to say
there
anything.
You go, guys. Hit that like button on the way out. We will see you guys later tonight. We got 2 amazing videos dropping for you guys. Of course, last shout out here. Make sure you guys go check out CoinW if you guys want to get into the free Telegram, guys. Learn how to buy, sell, trade, scalp trade, etc. All through CoinW. The link's in the description below. Check out Arculus. Check out DAG. You guys know what to do. We'll see you guys later tonight.
And number 1 is Mao. Probably not who you thought it was.